Hey guys, Sifu Les Clements back in the Star Chamber. Thanks for watching Black Dragon TV. So as you can see in the background, I have this nice brand new mural, right? Black Dragon. This was unexpectedly dropped off today by a dear student of mine who's very dedicated, and I appreciate that, Mr. Blanken. So now that we have a Black Dragon tapestry that just appeared, right? Now I can have an opportunity to start talking about the dragon. All right. So why, first of all, why is it Black Dragon TV? Why is it Black Dragon Kung Fu? Is it just that black is a cool color to select? Nah. Okay, alchemy. If you look at the alchemy, every metal or specific metals correspond to specific planets. Also colors. So lead corresponds to Saturn. In Roman, which is the name that we use today, Saturn, used to be Kronos in Greek, which is eater of time, the old father of the universe, right? So black corresponded to Saturn, the color black. Death, hence the Grim Reaper, funerals, everyone wears black, death. This is a Saturnian ritual. Just like judges wear black cloaks or robes. Lots of police wear black. Catholic bishops, a lot of them wear black. It's because that represents Saturn, no matter what function it's in. And alchemy is just Saturn, which is lead. So lead is the most unworked base metal, okay? So it has the most potential to be transmuted into higher metals. All right, so Saturn, the lead, has to be transmuted. So I've already described what it is to be in a lead state, all right? If you're living in a lead state, everything is very unworked matter. Like someone who's very sedentary, doesn't go to work, doesn't do anything, just sits around, plays video games and eats. Like all of that stuff that's a Saturnian, almost a disorder. It's an addiction, right? They're stuck in that lead phase where they cannot rise above. You know? They could, obviously, but it's going to take some work. You would have to have the knowledge of transmutation and how to get something higher. So this is available for anyone that feels like that. Remember, standing. I'm about to get to the dragon, just have to explain a few more things. So lead, Saturn, right? The most unworked base metal. We could be a lead cube. So remember that golden cube that I talked about? Prithvi in my other videos, the electromagnetized body. Okay, a dull block of lead is unworked. That lead has been transmuted. When it's a golden cube, that lead has gone through the transformation through fire, water, air, and earth. It's been infused with different ingredients in alchemy, all metaphors: salt, sulfur, mercury, the three main ingredients in elemental alchemy, and regular conventional alchemy as well. So with that knowledge of Saturn, lead, black being the color, Black Dragon is the base, the beginning, okay? So when you start training, the first sash that I give, not for promotional reasons or anything, it just simply, it marks progress and status. That's all it is. No tips, no stripes, no paid testings, none of that. It's just a simple sash that corresponds to Saturn, lead, right? Unworked. So a student in my class is going to be a black sash if they work hard for about 2 years. A black sash is like a probationary period where the student is working their dark matter into something more, into things that are more lighter, being exposed to higher frequencies, being infused with the elemental cycles through the movements of Kung Fu. And the lead block will transform. So when I talk about puffing the fire, right, like the leopard, now we're puffing the fire this way or this way, right? The leopard can puff the fire with its paws, right? Where the human is going to use the bellows, right? The dragon could use the bellows if it wanted to, but the dragon doesn't need to puff the fire, even at the basic level, because the leopard does that. So in order to learn dragon, someone would have to start at leopard. But the beginning basic leopard is the same thing as the beginning basic black dragon. You see? So black dragon is the beginning of the transmutation process. The black dragon is the raw, uncut block, the most valuable piece in the whole equation. You, right? Black, lead, Saturn. Now we got to get that transmuted up to the higher metal. Now the next metal that it's going to go up to is iron, which is going to correspond to Mars. And that is going to have to do with a lot more heat. There's the fire again, Aries, right? Now here's the leopard, got to puff the flame. The leopard's got to puff the flame very, very carefully here while it's working, you see? Because the leopard is the puffer. The black leopard is the puffer. The black dragon is the puffer. The black crane is the puffer. They are the beginners, okay? And then they will transmute they will transmute and they will develop more advanced qualities and features as they develop into higher metals, right? Transmutation. So all of it starts from black dragon. So it's elemental alchemy of building the Kung Fu style, building the Kung Fu frequency, right? The Kung, which is skill, Fu is mastery over that skill. So we spend time developing Kung, which is concentrated effort, which is hard work, right? Higher awareness through concentrated effort of specific things. So for Black Dragon, the basic technique, it depends on the student usually, but if the student is really lean and frail, then maybe Tiger is the better way to get a little bit of bulk on them first. But if someone is too bulky when they come to class, maybe they should start with Leopard to start to trim and lean down a little bit so their body will be more conducive to learning these styles. Because the body will transform and transmute just like the metal, because you are the metal, right? So if you watch someone who studies Leopard and they make it through the copper phase, if they transmute lead to iron, are you following me? Which means they develop Leopard right to the basic levels, and then they survive the iron stage, which is Mars, Aries, the god of war, where we have to be careful because of ego and war, right? If they are able to transmute to that next level, which is copper, boom, conductivity, Venus. Copper is very, very conductive. Copper, Venus rules. Copper is the element that corresponds to Venus. And copper is excellent for communication. It's good for good health, the infusion of light. So if a student can make it to the copper phase, then he'll be golden. Now, that usually takes about 2 years, and if they successfully make it to that, then they get a green sash. Okay, green corresponds to water in the system, right? I know generally it would sound like it would be blue, right? Air is blue in the system. Water is green or silver. Silver is also silver or green, either way. Silver is the moon energy, right? Jing. Okay, so with all that in mind, yeah, the sun and the moon energies start to get balanced, transmuting the raw material. So if a person gets past Tiger, just to the first level of copper, their body is already transformed. They are going to look almost unrecognizable if you see them. Keep in mind, this will take several months. It's a process, right? Then they've got a foothold, but now, let's say he started with Tiger, or she started with Tiger. Now they, whichever the student is, him or her, once they're in Tiger and they shift over into Leopard, or whichever the next one is where they're going to go based on their progress, right? Based on where their limitations are, we're going to fix those with the next one, whichever it is. See? So the combinations could be different with different people. That's very important because not everyone should be forced to learn the same. At the same time, we have other techniques where everyone does do everything the same. So we try to get both symmetrical and asymmetrical in presence and in training, right? So once you have that all going on, the body transforms through these animals. So by the time you get to the last of the four, whichever one it is, whichever path they've come through, then they can start getting into the dragon, right? But once they get a green sash, they're still not really near the dragon. They start learning little pieces of dragon all along, and then a little bit more and a little bit more And eventually, after about 4 years, they get to blue. So I'll describe the rest of that process at another time, just giving you an example of why it's Black Dragon, alchemy, the transmutation of lower base metals into higher base metals. So remember, the Black Dragon is the most important feature because it is the beginning, right? Lead, the lowest, most unworked metal, but the most valuable one because it can be transmuted. So it's like the more raw material you have, the more you can transmute, right? The person, the individual transforms. Puffing the flame. All right, if you like this video, feel free to hit the like button. Thanks for watching. Seafood Les Clements out.